There are very few things that I experience and I'm like, wow, that was beautiful. I feel like it's something kind of lost in the modern era. With everything trying to be bombastic and eye-catching in different ways, it's very difficult to find something that just exudes serene beauty and makes you appreciate the world more all for it. The main topic for today's video is the anime film Your Name, or Kimi no Na wa, which I just had the privilege to rewatch with a friend of mine, and it reminded me how much I love this movie. It reminded me why it's easily in my 5 favorite animated movies of all time. And cringe as it may sound, it reminded me a thing or two about love along the way. And all of these things are not for the reasons you would expect. This movie has a lot of really great parts to it. It's a story about 2 people who, despite living in different places, with even more than just space dividing them, I don't want to spoil in case you haven't seen it yet, they are each other's soulmates. They love each other and they beat the odds. They beat the universe. They beat destiny. And they could finally meet each other and fall in love with each other. Yes, it is a cute romance story, and cringe romance stories don't usually do it for me, okay? When I see people that don't have any reason to fall in love with each other or be together, and they do for the sake of the plot, it usually turns me off entirely. However, the reason why Your Name hits so different is not for any of these reasons. Anime films in general do a wonderful thing when it comes to crafting your imagination. It takes a very whimsical look at life and just passes it for no more reason than just making it more beautiful, making the world more habitable than the one that we're currently in. A major difference between Japanese animated films and American ones is even when an American animated film is tied to fantasy, it's still stuck in realism. Now, I'm not saying this to be a negative in any way. Normally, I prefer that kind of thing. I don't want magic plot devices to get me to the end of my series. In anime, the much more whimsical nature is all about putting you into that world. It's you experiencing something that shouldn't be possible to experience. And Your Name, I think, does that better than anything else I've ever seen. Now, 1,000,001 people have made videos or talked about why Your Name is a masterpiece. I am not here to do that. In case you're unaware, when I make an analysis video, it's because I want to talk about something that no one else is talking about. It's because I want to open my heart to you guys and share to you what I feel about something, despite it being a personal feeling or personal take on a certain moment or film. The reason why I like Your Name is not for the same reason that anyone else likes it, at least that I've seen, and I truly believe it to be the point of Your Name. Your Name is divided into 2 parts. There's the first part of the movie, which is largely comedy-based. You got a dude and a girl constantly switching bodies. They're screwing up each other's life in funny ways. They're coming to realize that they kind of like each other despite hating each other. Dude wakes up in the girl's body. First thing he does is obviously feel his boobs because he's a dude. Like, let's be real here. I mean, this was inevitable. It was gotta happen. And the interactions between a country girl in a city boy's body and vice versa were hilarious. The first half of the movie, comedic masterpiece. I love it. The second half of the movie is the complete opposite. It's a romance drama. Tragedy strikes. They stop switching bodies at some point, and it's all about overcoming insurmountable odds to remember each other's name after that. Literal fate is against them, and love manages to overcome that. Now, again, I don't want to spoil any of the specifics, the drama, the twists and turns. I'm just obviously the dude gets the girl at the end of the movie, okay? That's not a spoiler. Shut the frick up. But I want to talk about why I love this movie. Because yes, the comedy part is a masterpiece. And yes, the supernatural romance drama part in the second half is also a masterpiece. The part of this movie that's overlooked by everyone that I speak to is the vertex of this graph, is the center point. They're switching bodies, they're beefing with each other, they're fighting, they're acting like children. They keep talking about how they hate each other and they hate that they're switching bodies. They hate that every second day they're in someone else's life, needing to make do with their previous decisions of the day before, where they don't really care about the outcome of their actions when they're in the other person's body, so the other person is constantly needing to deal with fixing the things that are broken by the first person. God, how annoying it is to maintain a social relationship when you blip out every 24 hours only for some other dude to completely screw your life up and you have to constantly be fixing the mistakes that he's made. Imagine popping into your body after 24 hours of being somewhere else, and all of a sudden, you're beefing with 100 people. God, this is so frustrating and annoying. And right when the annoyance is built up to the 100%, right when they can't stand each other and their current situation at the very most, it stops happening. They stop switching bodies. The dude wakes up every morning expecting to be somewhere else, and he's not. He has his life back. He doesn't have any annoying bitch to screw up his life. Finally, he could go back to living the way he was envying to be able to do for the last months. But what's that strange feeling he's feeling? He's never spoken to this girl because every time he switches into her body, she switches into his. They never even met up. In fact, they weren't able to meet up for reasons that are mentioned in the actual show that I don't really want to spoil. But despite that, he misses her. He's never met her, but he misses her. He misses the body swapping. He misses the needing to pick up and fix her mess. He misses being able to experience her life through her eyes. Months and months of complaining, months and months of annoyance, and he misses. Strange, unless this is the actual point of your name. Very often there are people in your life that bring you nothing but heartache. There are circumstances that you find yourself in that leave you stressed out, needing to fix messes and clean up after other people. But if you take a step back and you really look at it from an outside perspective, you are a lucky ass bitch that you have to deal with someone that you care about enough to need to deal with it. That your parents slash partner slash sibling slash friend causes you so much heartache, it's only because your heart cares about them to such a degree that when they screw up or that when they act like an asshole, it affects you. If someone you didn't care about acts like an asshole, well, you could shrug your shoulders and move on with life. Who cares? But when it's someone you actually care about that attacks you or that does something to you, that's when it really stings because you love them. The reason why this dude was so distraught was because he found himself falling in love with this person, but not willing to admit it to himself because he was so headfirst in the situation that he couldn't pull his face out of his booty and look at things objectively. This midpoint of your name between the hilarious comedy and between the romantic drama is such a powerful moment. It's such a powerful scene. It's a point in his life that can echo so vividly in all of ours, in every single situation we find ourselves in. It's such a beautiful way of encapsulating it. It's such a fantastic notion. It's such a simple framework of putting a situation that affects so many people. I'd argue that affects every single person so vividly, but it puts it in such a whimsical and beautiful sense. Us being an outsider, we knew that they were slowly falling in love with each other for the duration of the first half of the movie. We knew that, right? We saw their actions from a third-party perspective, but them being so nose deep in the mud, dealing with each other's screw-ups, they couldn't see it themselves. They were blinded by their naivete that every single one of us experiences when we are down in the mud with our personal battles. I think the main point of your name and what your name is truly trying to tell you, and what makes this scene at the midpoint of the series so beautiful, and I'd argue even more beautiful than the actual ending, which I loved as well, is that your name is telling you that you don't know what you got until it's gone. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Old Nux back with the analysis videos. Definitely subscribe for more. These don't get as many views, but you've been liking them and I like them. Have a most wonderful evening and remember to stay weird, fam.